have a couple of questions, but we would really like and encourage our participants to ask more questions or even comments or any kind of inputs you would like to make. So it was a very comprehensive lecture, and I think that you have touched upon the essential and foundational ideas behind higher education system in India. You have given a historical trajectory in the context of the colonial period and the independent period of India. And I think you raised a very important point that we used to read in our school textbooks about the double-edged role of education, especially in the context of colonial India, where education can be used either as a tool for subjugation or liberation, and how education system introduced by the British had unanticipated effects on Indian people, where they were exposed to the modern ideas of freedom and liberation that led to an escalated national movement for freedom. So you've also raised very essential points about post-colonial India, how there was revamping of higher education and the focus was on science and technology and on accessibility of higher education for the masses. And then the 1990s, which were a crucial decade for higher education, with the introduction of liberalization and the basic debate between the fundamental philosophy behind education, where we see education either as a public good or as a commodity, and how the GATS agreement actually commodified the whole idea of education. You have raised very important challenges about the escalated privatization of education in India, and major challenges being affordability and quality and research and development, as you pointed out. Now, I would like to open the session to discussion and questions. So we have a question that wasn't the introduction of British education system in India a compromise to the Indian traditional education system? This is a question by Ms. Parminder Kaur, our faculty member.
Yeah, that's true. That every person in government, there's a very important thing that the kind of governance you have, they would impose upon you. And if you don't impose, you don't accept this as a country. And everybody will get. So point is that force is not in terms of physical, but it does not making the resources available. They first stop education grant to the Oriental colonies. So grant should not be given to those who participated in the freedom movement. So those who wanted to work on Indian knowledge, etc., they were also right. So you find that normal is prior to that compromise was there. After that compromise was not compromise in the sense of the term of compromise, forced compromise. It was a kind of desired compromise in terms of scientific development which was taking place in the world. And therefore we didn't want to miss the bus. We have already missed the bus, but we didn't want. So you would find that we respected the Indian education system, and then at the same time we wanted to be globally acceptable. So therefore, you find that Oriental education or traditional education is accepted because most of the production discussion process became more technical, which required more technical knowledge. Even administration required more technical, army required more technical knowledge. So the things have to be geared toward. So there was a desired compromise, a desired changes, but at the same time, I would have also said that up to 80s, you try to continue with your own thinking. You had a gut so that will go. We had some imports of solutions, and they did it. We did the science and technology well, and we did it well, we did the industry well in terms of the production, manufacturing, etc. But around 15, we had a very big impact on the food security. So then we did a good work on food security. And you went that in next year, agricultural university, agricultural college, they saw along with the electricity and water, that water can all those things. It's all part of technology. We saw the food problem. We didn't go to the world with the begging. It was at one period, 56 or so issues were there. After the engineering issues you had, agriculture development, water, irrigation, electricity, they solved the problem. And today, we have food security is there. So, but we could have gone in other areas. After 90s, we lost the manufacturing strength. We imported even small technology things like washing machines, all white goods which were produced at our. We had a
Sorry for interrupting, sir. You're not audible. I think there's an echo issue also, sir. If I think, sir, you need to unmute and.
it was not on. Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right, sir. But I think there's an echo issue also. If
It's unmute.
yes, now it's
I don't know
now
why.
it's fine, sir.
Perfectly right now, sir. It's perfectly
Now it's
right.
fine, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
It was, I didn't know how it went to it. Cursor might have moved that
No,
side.
that's all right. Perfectly.
Okay, so this little compromise took place. Initially, it was under force. Initially, because funds were not given, those who were asking for Indian interest, they were blacklisted, and those who wanted to do work in India. So that was the initial period of colonial period. But after colonial period, because of science and technology development, we wanted to really, it was a desired compromise for the development. Therefore, you find our development in agriculture came later. Earlier, we had given for begging ball with a peace law 480, where they gave a food. Then we went to the agriculture development. Many agriculture universities came, colleges came, water resources were created under the scientific technology by earlier leader Bhakra Nangal Karnal, electricity, and Punjab became the ball for rice and food. So you find that food security problem is solved. But after 90s, we staggered somewhere because world wanted a market for India. And we didn't realize that we are being fooled into a system which is going to exploit us. That we thought that trade would help. So trade is one thing. My friend used to say when I was advising the government of India on certain WTO issues, I say you should not open the retail now at that moment. I say you don't that kind of Walmart system in India, so they will come and capture you fully. And I used to say my Yusuf Sarai in Delhi, that will be completely evaporated. So then they stopped at that moment, and it started coming now retail trade and all these things. But by the time our people developed the Sabka Bazaar, that Bazaar, that Bazaar. So the point is that you didn't have level playing field at that moment, and you should have opened in much more scientific, much more intelligent way. We lost intelligence, let me frankly, around 90s, where we did not continue the manufacturing. We stopped doing many R&D, and we thought with our institutional technology, they thought it great in terms of providing education to the educated people to NASA. In fact, they created IIT only for the purpose of finding the intellectual resources in India and imported. There's one good book by Thomas Friedman on the level playing field. He said that they created a system, a supply chain, or the kind of that will educate the people, and the people will come to USA for supply. The supply chain was created by this. So that was so this we did not. We somewhere we lacked the intelligence in terms of somewhere the confidence in that we can do it. That there's 90s was a really just like many countries. That was a period of liberalization became a very strong ideological force all over the world. So you'll find that erstwhile Soviet Union was also dismantled in terms of China went into the state capitalism. So this liberalization process became a change in the system. We could not intelligently capture this contradictory thing. One side state supporting, other side philanthropist coming, third is industry manufacturing. Today still we are facing, our trade deficit has been long for the last 20 years. That is where the problem. So compromises are being taking place under several and there is somewhere lack of intelligence in dealing with and confidence and ability to sustain the pressure. That is also very important.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. We have another question, sir, by Mr. Amit Kumar. He's asking that what will be the impact of new education policy on current education system?
It's going to, it's going to change significantly. Let me tell you that many students will learn on their own through the media and other things. They are already learning on their own. So teaching learning process will undergo a major change, whether you like or not. And at earlier time, I used to say that when a person used to see the debate on the TV and then come to classroom, then he used to tell, sir, yesterday in the debate, I heard this point and you, how about it? So they learn from that sort. Today, they are learning almost many things from this thing. So you would find a major change in the process of teaching learning. Demand from the student, demand from society will also undergo a change. So teachers have to really not only reproducing what is available in the class, in the textbook. Textbooks are already available. You have given them ability to read, ability to understand. Well, now you have to give the ability to critically analyze the things, critically assess the thing, creativity, analytical approach. That would bring about that would put the people in any situation compatible. So my point is that NAP, if not through process, but it by technology will make a change. And the public sector, today there is one company which is interacting with almost 144 universities in India and try to provide the platform for them. So it is there. So that's where the change. And the school also there. Byju's, what is the Byju's? I have not seen it, but people are Byju's. So your school education is already being taken over by the private company, which is a risky one. Let me tell you, it's not because they cannot see the thing which you are. And the process of development has to be through. I strongly feel that school is a must, and it has a development of human being in a more. It is not only knowing and information. It is also seeing the impact of information, the life and people of the people, and a kind of socialization which takes place, understanding takes place, fellow feeling takes place, emotional development takes place, intelligence. So the school is a must, college is a must. How you handle this situation is a challenge now. Whether one likes or not, this is a challenge. So I think any NAP or no NAP, let me tell you frankly, this is going to, earlier you were driving the bicycle, then you drove the scooter, and then you came to the car, and now, and then in course of time, you might have drones which were there, and then later on a small aircraft or 20, earlier we had a Dornier, and then you would find many people will fly. So that is the kind of change which will come. So point I'm saying that policy is useful, good, out-of-box thinking, etc., but it should happen in the ground. And for that, you require a lot of resources, investment, and that commitment has to come from that commitment has to come from the society. And that commitment has to come from the state, whom we are paying a lot of taxes. And that state has to prioritize that education is the first priority, health is the second priority, third is the rest of the things which you like to do. And then industrialists have to come out with the idea of manufacturing and services and trading. In the WTA, I had a very bad experience. I interviewed, discussed with one of the industrialists. He was manufacturing the certain goods and particularly locks. And he said that I have used to employ about 100 persons. I used to give them salary, they were happy. But once the import took place about the lock, Chinese lock, my locks have gone out, and I had to disband the industry. And now I'm earning more profit because I get a manufacturing and I get good margin, but 100 persons have lost the job. So manufacturing gives the job. Manufacturing gives, that is, whether you manufacture this product or that product, and that has to be of a quality of international standard so that you can export. And if you can export, you can also import. So that is the way our intelligence has to really match with it. So education processes will undergo a change.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We have a question by Mr. Pankaj Sutradhar, and he's asking that what can be the impact of newly introduced Bharatiya Shiksha Board in the higher education system in India, and will there be any global attraction for Indian higher education? Will there be European American students coming to India for higher education in coming days?
You know what? Earlier we went for a international knowledge system and etc. because they were producing good goods and resources services. Europe has advanced in certain areas. Same thing, USA has advanced in certain area. We are not yet discussed about. We are not discussed about the China, and China is also and also Soviet Union, that Russia. They are advanced in certain areas, etc. Every country has to advance in the area. By following, you don't advance. Let me tell you. You should understand them. You should find what is it. But if you are following somebody, following person, any system which is trying to you follow, that is not going to be workable. I never say that is not as if you learn from say one thing, but if you just follow it there. So these people will come. They want to have market. They want to influence. Earlier also they came. They want to influence. But at the same time, what is good part of it you should take, but you don't have to blindly follow, or you don't have to do it. This is the challenge. Which on the other side, as they were supplying goods, now they want to supply services. They already started supplying Tencent and etc. services for Internet of Things. They want to supply your mind. But Macaulay did it through putting this kind. They want to do the trade. They want to trade system. So you have to be very intelligent. Your leadership has to. You have to think. There is no single individual responsible for. Everybody has to think and then even question the leadership if required to be questioned by putting. Yes, there are many good points of global education. One of the good things which I find, the processes are well defined. In UK, if you look at it, processes, and they don't teach you what is the text book. They teach you how to do things, how to apply knowledge. That is the process we should try to do. If you really beat them, then processes have to be actually as compatible with same physics they teach there, same physics we teach here, same economics they teach there. Same way. Why come the many people are coming with the physics, innovations, etc. Why we can't come in? That is the challenge. Which challenge is that it is to us. Leadership is one thing that would continue, but when it comes to how processes have to be changed. So my submission, there many institutions will come. They would like to establish only that when it comes to you, you choose what is important, what is necessary for you. You don't have to take it because somebody tells you that it's good for you. No, you should take your decision that yes, is it good for? If not, they would came. They are not only, earlier also they did. IITs came as a response to the demand from the 5 countries. Kanpur IIT was set up by with the help of UK, and other IITs were set up with the Bombay IIT was set up by certain things. So you will find the close link. They provided syllabus, they provided training, etc. So they succeeded in getting BTech people for their jobs all over the world, and particularly USA and UK also. So you have to see what is important. Technology you would take, but what is important for you. This decision, education should give the student ability to decide what is in their larger interests, individual interests, society's interests, and global interests.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. If there's any comment from any of the participants, they can write a comment also. It was a very, very insightful lecture, sir. Sir, I would like to discuss a couple of points with you, sir. Like you have mentioned about technological revolution in education and how in certain ways it enhances the teaching learning process. But as a teacher, sir, sometimes I wonder about the basic human bond that we share with our students. And with the increased, I think, application of technology in our teaching learning processes, because like personally, I have been trained in the traditional setup where we shared a very unique bond with our teachers. So sometimes that question really dwells in my mind about the human bond, if that is going to miss in the technological revolution that we used to share in the classrooms. And so secondly, in the context of the technological revolution, the other thing that disturbs me is the idea of accessibility, that a country like us, which is ridden with socioeconomic disparities, that all students from different socioeconomic backgrounds, they do not have access to that kind of technology. So are we going to reach them, or are they going to be further marginalized due to this digital revolution? as teacher, I keep wondering upon these 2 points. So
Very
please,
good.
your
Very good, very good. I'm glad that you are wondering about this point. I'm glad that you have these questions in your mind. Very few people have questions in their mind. The fact of one question is that human bondage is slightly going to be affected to begin with, but it is not going to be affected because I have not seen Das for last 2 or 3 years. Today I have been able to see it. I have not seen you, but I am able to see it. So that it won't be physical, but it's emotional. It might come over. If you interact 2 or 3 times, then it becomes a continuity of this. Even you may be sitting anywhere. So that will help you, provided you don't see most of the time from what you call Instagram and you don't see this, you are able to interact in this manner. Occasionally you should put this guy, and then emotional bonding. And I say there is no substitute to physical. The level of interaction that would take place in physical situation would be different than what you should. Earlier, you should give the 40 minutes or 50 minutes classroom lecture. Now they will ask questions and it will be what they call flipped classroom. Flipped classroom,
right.
They learn on their own and they come to the classroom to interact with you, discuss with you, and solve the problem or create new situations, etc. So that is a different kind of education. And human bondage would take level is going to be different than what it was. So reproducing level would not be. It's not a reproduction, it is a creativity. It's an analytical. That is going to be. So human bondage, initially it might be disrupted, but it is going to take it away. Because earlier you were interacting on the information level. Now you'll interact on analytical level. Now you'll interact creative level. So that would be high level of say high order thinking, which you used to call. So that's one thing. The second question you saw?
The second, I was talking about the accessibility that
accessibility. I say yes, very, very, very much. There's a very interesting book. I'll suggest you if you can read it. AI 2041, 2041.
Okay.
Sir. 2 things are going to change much. That's why I said our accessibility was because of the availability of internet of things in remotest area, which is going to become a reality. So it will become easy. Streaming will become easy, not only urban area, but another limitation with us was the energy. Energy has been one of the stumbling block in the developmental process. We don't 24-hour light. In hilly area, you don't have electricity, even your equipment, etc. So that was a major bottleneck, still continues to be a major bottleneck. Content flow, information can flow, Internet of Things, etc. But internet should be available. And for that, you require energy.
Right.
What is going to happen next? And I said that quality changes would be much higher in course of time. There is a major breakthrough that is taking place in the world and India partly, is a solar energy that will take place. Solar energy is a zero marginal cost. So it's energy would be freely available and technology is enabling it. So 3D printing, etc., many things would become, abundance would become course of time. So this gap which we are finding from the rural and urban area, remote area, etc., because of solar technology, it can be made available anywhere, anywhere. So that is the, which is now laying down cable and creating this maybe little different kind of thing. It is, you put a rooftop, I'm planning to put a rooftop, electricity will be, I can use it and I can sell it also. So that development would take place. So the gap is still for charging the mobile phone, many people wait for electricity to come. Right. So that thing would undergo after 5 years. And it is going to very fast. You would never realize that. We never realized that mobile would be flowing the data in the manner when I was in conservative education, data was not flowing in that manner. Only through VSET we could flow the data, but now it is flowing internet. So there is the changes would go. So accessibility will increase, quality will increase. Only those who are providing education, their level should go high, so that quality, accessibility, quality goes high. That is the change. But I'm glad that you are churning with these questions. I'm glad that you are churning with these questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.